Hi everybody, hello, welcome. I'm holding this $5 ring light with my left hand, and it's just not, there's no way that I can get it stable. No matter how many times I turn everything to tighten everything. So if it's a little wobbly, please forgive me. I'm going to go to the storage room and get my tripod today, but it's been raining cats and dogs for a couple of days. And I've been resting. So I'm caught up on my rest, and I've actually had a lot of time to watch more videos and go through more things in my mind. Now, while I am sharing my journey of becoming an awakened empath and what that means, and sharing the importance of helping other empaths to become aware, if not awaken, to at least become aware that an empath can actually be a double-edged sword that can work against you. A lot of empaths do end up becoming emotionally destroyed because they do not become strong. And as I have been saying, you need to become stronger. You need to become more aware. Sorry. I may actually end up remaking these videos, but I'll try to make it as short as I can. I have been thinking about making this video off and on for a couple of months. I'm sorry, this stupid thing, man, it is just a total nightmare. My favorite expression. I ain't got no time for this. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I am a psychic medium, a psychic healer, a shamanic witch. And that being said, I have been on a journey as an empath my whole life to come to the point where I've not only become an aware empath, but over this past year and a half, an awakened empath. This began around November as I began to sort of put pieces together. I had my triggering moment where I was meant to awaken. This is where you have an incredibly heightened sense of awareness and knowledge. And I was able to look back on my life and see things with more clarity. Being able to actually put a name to certain things that were happening. And I've mentioned that that's very important. Giving things a name helps you call it for what it is. Everybody has a name. So this is a spiritual channel, and by watching my videos, you acknowledge that you are over 18, you are interested in growing and learning. Maybe you are an empath. Maybe you know someone who could benefit from this information. And you're going to take responsibility for your thoughts and your actions. I'm sharing my journey. You could call them opinions. I don't like to call it entertainment, but sometimes you have to label the work that you're doing in the spiritual. This is a spiritual channel. Sometimes people say it's for entertainment purposes, for legal reasons. And you have to take responsibility for your own actions and your own thoughts. And this is a very important part of growing and becoming a mature adult. Anything I talk about in the realm of finance, law, anything legal, or even psychological, please consider the possibility that you need to be consulting a qualified professional in that area. I am a shamanic counselor. That is my destiny. It is in my astrological chart. So today's story is going to be about when the mask comes off, what's behind the mask, when the narcissist gets physical. This is a story about my narcissist mother. Now, there were 2 times that I'm remembering now in my life when my mother's mask came off and she did rage and get physical. The first time was with my father. I was very young, and that was my first trauma, I believe, that made an impression on me about my mother. And the way she looked when we picked her up at the hospital was just, it's like the sadistic event had occurred. She managed to hurt my dad really bad because he, in pushing her off of him, she got hurt. And there was just this sick smile of peace and accomplishment when we picked her up at the hospital with 12 stitches in her head. Yeah, I've got 12 stitches in my head. So that's, a victim mentality. One of the things that they like to do is to hurt you and prove that you're the bad guy and they're the victim. That's for another story, okay? Today I want to talk about as I was growing up as a young woman and starting out on my own life, which my mom didn't want me to do. Even though I was her favorite, I was her primary supply. Her primary source of getting accolades and attention. I was her vanity project. She lived vicariously through me. It was through me that she got the bragging rights. A little bit of a stage mom. My arm is going to sleep. All right. I want you to really be aware of something that I have learned that validates what happened. Now, my mom had a lot of acquaintances. Some of her acquaintance/friends were enablers. They were doctors and they were nurses, and she managed to make acquaintance with them. They felt sorry for her. She had managed to say all the right things to get them to actually spend time with her, sometimes have lunch with her. And she would use these qualified professionals to get to me. Well, your mother is sick and this and that, and is there any way that you can do this and that? And so I never wanted to be the disrespectful child. I was grateful for a lot of the things. But here I am now, about 25 years old, and what had happened was my parents were divorced. My mother discarded my father, but she never let him go. He was very tolerant, very compassionate. Even though there were times when she deliberately went to his job just to bully him while he was playing the piano, working. So what happened was he died. And I had been living in a camper in an RV park in this area in the desert where my father was semi-retired and working as a piano bar musician. So this was one of her primary sources of supply. I was the other one. My sister, I think she had moved away, or she was involved. She was in a relationship with a guy, and I was not. So after we got over the incredibly stressful, I don't know how many weeks of Dad dying, we decided that maybe we could go in on an apartment together. That maybe it would be a good idea for us to be together instead of living separately in 2 different campers. So we found a 1-bedroom apartment and we got in. I didn't know that it was going to be a big mistake for me to try to get financially involved with the narcissist, my mother. I knew she was not responsible with money to the point where she wanted to work enough to take care of herself. She was always looking for resources from other places. So we move in, and she doesn't do much. She never really cooked much. So if I was a lot of the times tired. This is what happens. You are literally drained. You don't know why until you're away from them for a while, or you're away from them for a few hours. So I was always tired. I was always drained. I'm not a morning person. I would get up. She hadn't cooked anything. So I'd go to Burger King and get us breakfast and come back. And she would be cleaning a little bit, tidying up. I don't recall ever seeing her pull out the vacuum and vacuum very often at all. But she would pick up after herself. So she didn't have to do very much after, We start in the beginning where she's paying half of everything. That was the agreement. Mom, I can't do this if we're not going to split it. As it is, we're either going to have to share the bedroom or I don't know what. We were sharing the bedroom at first. We were both sleeping on the floor. Finally, I found somebody with a waterbed, so we got that. I slept in the waterbed. I had weird dreams. I didn't like it, so I got rid of the waterbed. So then we got some other kind of a bed, I don't know what. Plus we managed to have a sofa bed. She was sleeping on the sofa bed for the first couple of months. One day I come home and she's leaning up against the door frame of the bedroom and says to me, I really need the bedroom, Sabrina. I really need the bedroom. I need my privacy. I'm not well. And I can't be in the living room anymore on the sofa bed. It's just not private enough. And I kind of objected to her, and then she always pulled the mother card. But I'm the mother. I'm your mother. So after a couple of days of discussing this, they don't take no for an answer, okay? They're going to bug you to death until you finally say a yes and give them what they want. She got whatever bed it was, I don't know what it was, in the bedroom. We weren't even sharing the bedroom, and I was on the sofa bed. So now I'm the one being disturbed when she's up and she's walking through the living room into the kitchen. And she got up earlier in the morning than I did. I usually didn't go to work until like 12 noon or maybe 2. I'm a swing shift. I'm a night owl. And so after a couple of months, she starts telling me she's having a little bit of trouble, with her money, and that she can't give me everything up front, and that, she can give me like 75% right now. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm barely making it as it is, working this little job at the 5 and dime. And summer's coming and our hours are going to be really cut. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I'm doing the best I can. This is how it goes. Gee, I'm really sorry, but this is all I can do. So then it becomes more and more and more. She's grooming me. She's weaning me off of getting anything from her at all, as far as 50% of the rent and the utilities. There's never any discussion. This was her plan. This is always their plan. So I guess after about 4 or 5 months, she's working less and less and just sitting in front of the TV. That was her favorite thing. Talking about, how I've been to the doctor. She was always going to the doctor. And the counselor, always going to the counselor. And I'm not doing well, and I really need to take it easy. I can't work as much anymore. I'm getting older. She was 49. But there were times when she'd say, the doctor said I have the body of a 25-year-old. So what happens is, I guess after 5 months, and her announcing she's just not going to work anymore, that she can't, I'm going to have to pay for everything. And I'm getting really stressed. And I'm telling her I can't. I can't. We're going to get evicted. What are we going to do? Oh, well, can't you work more? You know, just fantasy land. Why should I have to pay for everything while you sit around? Oh, well, I need to retire. I said, you're 49. You're not even maybe 50. What do you mean retire? Well, I'm not well. I've never been well. I want to mention, as I've said in previous videos, this is not about bashing my dead mother. I'm glad she's passed on so that now I'm able to look back at things and speak on it. They do learn when they pass over. I'm a medium, and she has come around quite a few times. I think she is still learning, and I think she is recognizing that not only was it a role she chose to play, but there were some things she did that really caused karma for her. And the generational trauma was visited upon me. This is generational trauma. Now, I fortunately have been able to work through it. Recently on the lunar eclipse, as I've said, I had a very big clearing because I've been looking back at my childhood and my marriage and seeing where what was going on was narcissism. So now, being the narcissist, they're stuck in childhood. I don't know what age, it depends on what happened and how old they were, somewhere between maybe 5 and 10. For my mother, it was 9. So they are emotionally underdeveloped. They are like a child. They are not mature. They are emotionally underdeveloped. So trying to live life as an adult is incredibly stressful for them every single day. I didn't know what I was dealing with. Otherwise, I never would have moved in with her. But I was learning. So we're having this discussion. I'm bringing it up day after day after day. And she's always, again, pulling the mother card. But I'm your mother, but I'm your mother. And in one way, it's like, I'm the child star. You have to take care of me. I'm the princess. You have to give me princess treatment. You have to take care of me. And I just told her, you're not an invalid. You don't have cancer. This is not working for me. But I was in shock and I didn't know what to do. So at one point we're discussing it again, and I guess this has been going on for at least a week. And I go to clean the dining room table, which I had purchased and I had put together myself. All of a sudden, my mom starts beating on me, on my back. What happens is when they start to lose their primary supply or their last supply, my father was dead. My sister was in a relationship, and the only person that she could try to convince and keep to take care of her was me. And when they are going to lose their primary supply, that mask can come off. And that's it. They rage and they can get physical. This is why I'm making this video for you today. You need to be aware. You need to know. If you are the primary supply and there's nobody else around that they can get to or get supply from, which is generally attention or to be taken care of. That's their only goal, is to be taken care of. Then you need to be careful. You need to be aware, and you need to have, you need to be knowing what could be coming up. If you have to make the announcement that you're cutting them off. If you are not acquiescing to them and you're not their friend, then you're their enemy. And they don't have any self-control. So she's beating on my back, beating on my back. Now, my mom was a singer, but she was also a drummer. She was a female, feminine female, but she was, you know, not like a wild, crazy drummer, but she was playing some of the drums, like Karen Carpenter, with my father sometimes. And I'm in shock, and I'm yelling, "Ah, what are you doing? Stop!" I couldn't believe what was happening. I'm the mother, you can't do this. You have to take care of me. You have to take care of me. And I'm just yelling, "Stop, stop. What are you doing? Stop, you're hurting me." And it was pushing me down onto the table. And I turn around and I look at her and I said, "If you don't stop, I'm going to call the police." And I meant it. I knew at that point that I had had enough weird things, questionable things from my mother. And I don't remember if this was after she had moved in with me in my teeny tiny little room behind a house or not. I don't remember. But she said, "You can't do that. I'm not doing anything to you. You're not listening. I'm your mother." And, excuse me. She goes back to beating me. And I said, "Stop it. I told you I'm going to call the police." You have to do it, guys. When you say you're going to do it, you have to do it. I really didn't have anybody else at the moment that I thought could protect me. So I got away. I ran out the kitchen door. I grabbed my phone and I called 911. I was upset, I was shaking, and I was crying. I was walking away from the apartment, waiting for the police to come, and I called my friend. I had one friend who knew about my mother, and she had told me one day, "It's like you're the mom and she's the child." So she knew, and I told her what had happened. I told her what was going on, and that the police were coming. So I had someone that I could call, that I could talk to, and I continued speaking to her as the days went by. So the police come, and my mom puts on the mask of being the calm, cool, collected adult. I didn't do anything. Well, she says, "You hit her, you were beating on her back." I said, "Yeah, she wants me to pay all the bills. She doesn't want to work anymore, and that was not our agreement. I don't know that she's so sick she can't work. She's not filing for disability. She doesn't have cancer." And I don't know really if the police said, "Well, can you file for disability? You know, why did you two move in together?" And we said, "Because my dad died, her husband, you know, my father. And we thought we could help each other out by living together." And he said, "You know, we don't like to get involved in these domestic situations anymore. If you are beating on your daughter, this is a really bad situation. You know, you say she's being disrespectful, she's not listening to you. That's no excuse for beating when she turns her back and you're beating on her back." And he says, "You two, if this is what's going on now, you two shouldn't be living together." And I thought, oh my God, this is such a sad day. Now I have to figure out where to go. So that was the first experience that I had in having to learn how to keep the peace and pretend like I was going to pay for everything and talk to my friend on the phone whenever I could and act like everything was okay and I was going to pay for everything. But my mother wasn't really convinced. She would ask me, "Are you planning on moving?" And I said no, and I'm a terrible liar. So she didn't offer me much of anything. I don't remember. She might have tried to appease me by giving me $15, but it was always, "Gee, I'm really sorry, you know, but I just can't do anymore." So for that reason, you should never ever give someone like that access to your money in any way, shape, or form. So I eventually I didn't pay for anything, and I saved all my money. My friend helped me get a little camper in the RV park once again where she was living. And I packed my bags and I left. And when she came home, I was gone. So this is all that I'm going to say today. Again, I apologize for the film and everything, the shaky camera. I'm going to list my PayPal, which I've had now for 6 years. Donations are not expected, but they are greatly appreciated. I am an awakened empath, and I am sharing my journey and how and what I have learned so that these people can't get away with these things anymore. You have the right to speak up for yourself, but you also need to know before you get into a situation with someone. Hopefully you've gotten to know them already, and if you have not directly experienced how they are with money, you will want to live with them. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. The most important thing I want to share here in this video today is that if they feel they are losing their one and only most important primary supply, that they absolutely can get physical. Now, again, donations are not expected, but I would greatly appreciate it. I am off for the summer from the school district, and I'm working on putting some more of my videos onto an online course on Thinkific. I do have a course there on dream recall so that you can strengthen your psychic abilities in case there is a narcissistic telepath who is implanting suggestions in your mind to make you think and feel a certain way towards them. And then you get yourself all caught up in a situation where it's just, you know, like I said, the agreements are never held to because their money is their money and they don't want to give it. All right, be sure that you are getting some recreation and entertainment. If you are learning, like I have been, I went out to the pool the other day and I caught some rays, and I have to remind myself that I've been doing a lot, and I need to remember that I need my recreation, I need my self-care, I need some pampering if I can get it, and you have to schedule that in. So take care, and I will talk to you later.